For personalised, private, no waiting, in-home care. rightathome.com.au. This is Without Bias on SEN.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Without Bias here on 1116 SEN, your home of sport. Val Febbo here with you for Bowls Australia, right at home, the right care right at home, Australia's premier in-home care providers. And of course, Tripadeal. Roll into your next holiday with Tripadeal. Massive show tonight because on Monday, the right at home Jackaroos and Para-Jackaroos leave for Scotland in the most important campaign of the year, the pre-Commonwealth Games tour. There is so much excitement and so much built around this tour and what it could create for a lot of people over there. We've got a few debutantes as well, so we're going to chat to one of those very, very soon in Olivia Cartwright. Calvin Rodgers, he's going to join me as well, Para-Jackaroo for the VIs. He's going over for his first real long-haul tour of an international country, so looking forward to that. But Olivia Cartwright is making her international debut for the Right at Home Jackaroos next week, and she joins me on the line. Liv, welcome.
Hey Val, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. How excited are you for next week?
So excited. Like I was saying before, it's come around so quickly, but I couldn't be any more ready just to jump on that plane and get into it.
Have you been to the UK before?
I have actually, not for bowls. So my uncle lives in Dublin, so he got married 11 years ago, so we did a big tour over there, and actually Scotland was one of the places, so yes, I have been there before.
So you know what the long-haul flight is going to look like, and you sort of know how to prepare your body for that, because that's it's never easy, is it?
No, I mean, yes, I do know what it is, but also I was like 10 and I just slept the whole day, so I think it's a bit more serious in terms of, you know, making sure I've got the compression socks and getting up, moving my legs, and just prioritising sleep when I can.
Well, hopefully they booked you on an aisle seat so you can just get up and move when you need to. But the preparation, how has that all looked for you?
It's been pretty busy, pretty full on. So I'm actually in the last week of uni at the moment, so just finishing off some last classes, some assignments, but really been prioritising that on-green time. I've been able to jump onto Kangaroo Flat Synthetic just to get some practice on that type of surface. Had an on-green session with JR the last couple of days, which has been good. But otherwise, it's just, you know, making sure I've got the knick-knacks for the flight and for the competition. So busy.
We'll talk more about that very soon. But in terms of your reaction when you received the call-up, so you are an emerging Jackaroo, but there was one spot available with the retirement of Chloe Stewart earlier on this year. So it was all dependent, or a lot of it was dependent on performances at the National Development Series, among other things. But you made 2 finals at the AO, and then you've come to the NDS, played really well, and got picked. So what was your reaction when you received the call that you'd be playing?
Yes, I actually got a text message rather than a phone call, but I actually was speechless, to be honest. I was aware that the announcement was, you know, due to come shortly, but I'd never really thought that I knew I was maybe in the talking zone, but never really knew that it was a big possibility. So when it comes through, I was like, oh, okay, this is, that's my name. Yeah, this is cool. So was very speechless, but so excited.
And where were you when you were, or what were you doing when the text came through?
I was actually sitting in an aisle seat on the plane. We were on the way back from the Nugget. So we just finished the Golden Nugget. We were on our way back, and I was actually about to just turn my phone on to flight mode when I saw a message popped up, and I was like, all right, we'll just take a peek. And saw my name, and I was like, oh my, now I have to hold on to this secret for the whole flight home. But yeah, so the poor people beside me, they had no idea what was going on, and I'm just here like holding my hands over my face, trying not to scream, yell, excitement. It was a full rush of emotions. It's
probably the worst time that you could scream out really loud would be as a flight's about to take off. So well done to you for not doing it and holding it in. But it would have made for a great flight. But also, how did you go for that 2 hours or whatever it was, not being able to tell anybody?
Yeah, it was very difficult. I did not sleep that whole flight. Normally I'm a pretty good sleeper on planes, but I did not sleep. I was very proactive. I was like, right, these are the dates. What do I need to do? What do I need? My brain was just ticking and ticking. I was like, this is happening. Girl, this is happening.
That's incredible. And next week, you're going to get your cap presentation and you're going to receive it. How much are you looking forward to that moment where you're standing in amongst your teammates with the 5 other debutants for Australia and receiving that cap?
Yeah, I'm so excited. Like, even I kind of get goosebumps even thinking about it now. But for a lot of the time, I suppose I was umming and ahhing whether I was actually going to get a, cap or things like that because, like you mentioned, I'm not, I'm still an emerging Jackaroo. So I wasn't really sure what that looks like for me. But now that it's kind of approaching very quickly and it's all in the talks and things like that, I'm like, okay, it's happening. And I think, it's going to be pretty emotional. Like you said, there's a few of us getting some caps. So, it's great to feel acknowledged in, the highest sense you can be. And, looking forward to it.
And what are you hoping to learn from this tour? Because you mentioned before the synthetic and how you're trying to be, or how you've tried to prepare on that. It's going to be indoors. It's going to be on carpet, very different carpet to what we're used to playing on here. But what are you hoping to learn from in particular?
Yeah, I think just the exposure on international greens. Like, this is the furthest I've played, travelled for bowls. So it'd be good just to, learn how their tracks operate and get to know the scenery and things like that. But kind of more ins and outs of what a big trip looks like. Obviously, the preparation side of things, what we're in now, but what that looks like while we're away, as well as getting to know some of the players a bit better and, just soak it all in and enjoy it.
Do you sort of pinch yourself a little bit, the fact that you're going to be going over with some living legends of the sport, I guess? You've got Aaron Wilson, Kelsey Cottrell, Ellen Fife, Christina, and so many players that have been there and done that on the international stage as well.
100%. Like I was talking to someone the other day, this is, like I touched on, little Liv living out her childhood dream. So to now be playing alongside those people, it's just surreal, and it still hasn't sunk in. I don't know when it will, but for now I'm just really looking forward to being their teammate rather than their opposition. So looking forward to it.
We've spoken about Little Liv many times before. How proud would Little Liv be of Bigger Liv when you step onto the green as an Australian representative?
Yeah, she would honestly be over the moon. She would have been screaming on that plane. She would not have held that in. She would have been screaming. But I think, she would have just been proud of the persistence and the dedication that I've put in over the years, and just probably quietly tapped me on the shoulder and been like, get it, girl. You deserve to take this chance and leap in your journey, and that's what I'm going to do. So, yeah.
You certainly do deserve it. And in terms of sets of bowls, how many are you looking to take? Because I know that some people like the wider turning bowls, and some will take their normal bowls as well. So how many are you thinking of taking?
So I'm just taking the one set. So I actually, little insight, I have never used anything else but an XG. So
wow.
A green line. So I am going with the phrase of, if it's not broken, why fix it? The bowls have been pretty good for me the last few months. So we'll be sticking with that for now. But if we get over there and I need something different, I'm happily going to access something over there where I can. So that's the plan, talking with Gaz and people like that. So we're just sticking to what I know.
Fantastic. I love the insight, and love the little faith that you got in the XGs, because they if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You're right, and you've got such a supportive family, Liv. Will any of them make the trek with you, and how supportive and proud are they of this journey that you're on?
Yeah, so proud. Unfortunately not. So with the short notice and the distance being so far, it's a bit of an expensive trip for a big family. So with all that logistics side of things, they aren't able to come, which is sad. But, you know, like you said, they are the most supportive people that I have in my corner, and I'll be forever grateful for the encouragement and the belief that they have in me. So I know that they'll be in there in spirit with me. But my uncle, like I said, lives in Dublin. So hoping he'll make the trek over and have a little peep at it all. So that'll be cool if he could come across.
Well, yeah, let's hope, and then you can at least have a little bit of family support there. And with your two brothers, have you entered any mixed triples events? Because all three of you go pretty well, so I reckon you do all right and hustle a few people.
I played mixed triple a few years ago, maybe now, with Jacob and Dad.
Yeah.
And we did well there. I think we may have finished second or first, but I mean, I'm so time poor at the moment. So poor them. They've been wanting to play with me for so long. And I was like, sorry, guys, I don't have time, which is really sad. But, you know, I get to debrief and practice and have a bit of banter, which is good. And we still have some rivalry happening in the family. So that's never going away.
Of course, that's fantastic. Well, Liv, thank you so much for joining me tonight on Without Bias. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm so stoked for you that you're going to be making your Australian debut next week. It's so well-deserved after the body of work that you've put in. You're flying at the moment. Good luck, and have a safe trip over to Scotland.
Thank you. Hopefully you can do the Aussies proud.
Olivia Cartwright joining me on Without Bias. She's a superstar, great human, so humble, and looking forward to her making her international debut next week in Scotland. So well deserved. Plenty more still to come because Calvin Rodgers, he's also going to be on the plane to Glasgow ahead of the Com Games pre-Commonwealth Games tour, so looking forward to chatting to him right at home, para Jackaroo, and he's an all-round ripping bloke as well. So can't wait for that. This is Without Bias for Right at Home, and Tripadil will be back soon.
For personalised, private, no waiting, in-home care, rightathome.com.au. This is Without Bias on SEN.
You're listening to Without Bias here on 1116 SEN. Val Febbo here with you, and what an awesome chat that was with Olivia Cartwright talking about her Australian debut coming up. This, of course, for Right at Home, the Right Care Right at Home, and Tripadil, of course, also for Bowls Australia. And now, without further ado, time to welcome in right at home para Jackaroo, Calvin Rodgers, who will also be on his way to Glasgow next week on Monday night. That's when all the Jackaroos fly out. He's got a little bit of a shorter flight flying from Perth, but still quite a long one all in all. Calvin, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Val. Appreciate the opportunity.
Great to have you on. How much are you looking forward to getting on the plane and making this long-haul flight for probably what would be the longest flight of your bowls career?
Yeah, that's for sure. It's awesome opportunity I've been given, and really looking forward to it. Massive opportunity to put my best foot forward and hopefully represent Australia at the Com Games.
And in terms of your prep, how has that all looked ahead of the tour? Like, have you been bowling on carpet? What sort of bowls have you been looking to take? Olivia said she was only taking one set. Are you going to take any more?
Yeah, I'm the same. Just taking the set I'm familiar with. I have been playing quite a bit of bowls recently. Outside I've had a little bit of treatment along the way, and health-wise. And so I've been after finishing that, I've been playing quite a bit of bowls on quicker greens with big wide hands. So preparing myself for what's to lie ahead in Glasgow.
Being vision impaired, you have a director, Jason Schutjens, who is going to be heading over with you to Glasgow. How important is Jason in this whole process?
Obviously us visually impaired, without a director, we're pretty much playing in the dark. So Jason and I get on very well together, and he knows, he pretty much knows my game inside and out, and probably my mental state as well. He's probably the most he's got the most awareness of anyone I know. He's very, very good with his observational skills for me and for the opponents, and how the game situation is at all stages.
There's a great video I saw of your international debut at the Trans-Tasman and Jason's speech ahead of that and how emotional he got. Just how close are the two of you?
Yeah, we're cousins, so we've spent all our life sort of together on and off. And and we share a lot of the same interests, so we tend to gravitate towards each other a lot with family functions and whatever. So, and since he's been my director for 6 years now, so since I started playing visually impaired bowls, he's been my director throughout. So, yeah, so he's learnt my game as it's developed, I guess.
And your learnings, what are you hoping to take from this tour? Because obviously it's very different to playing on grass greens here in Australia, especially in Western Australia, where you're sort of out in the elements and you get very windy conditions out there. So what are you hoping to learn in particular from this tour?
Yeah, I suppose, I mean, the conditions of the green, we all hope we're going to learn those, in the trial ends, and then each game you're going to learn more and more. But it's probably more about the off-green sort of stuff, the recovery, the preparation, the times that we're going to have to play. So it's the aim of it, I guess, is to prepare us for what we're likely to face if being successful in gaining selection in the Com Games. So the Com Games could be could throw up anything at us. So the BA staff are going to try and prepare us, put us through a grueling schedule to give us the best chance for those that are selected.
Looking forward to seeing how it all goes, and looking at sort of how you've prepared for your Trans-Tasman when you did make your international debut. What are some of the things that you learnt from that you'll take into this tour?
Yeah, probably the first of all the gratitude and the actual being fortunate enough to represent, put on the green and gold, and I'd never done that before, so just that alone was huge. So that's kind of something, although I've done it for the first time, it's still going to feel like it's the first time again when you get to another country. So, but yeah, being away from home and being in the whole group situation is very different for me, at least, being quite new for the debuting for Australia only sort of 18 months ago. So yeah, it's still going to feel quite raw, and yeah, I'll be nervous as hell.
And the opportunity to represent Australia, it's obviously something that not many people get to do. How much does it mean to you, the fact that, you have done it and you're going to do it again over the coming weeks?
Yeah, for sure. I do realise that there are lots of people that would like to be in our position. So yeah, I won't take it for granted, for sure, and really appreciate the opportunity, and I'll be more than grateful if given the nod.
And in terms of, the Commonwealth Games, obviously we've had a lot of wonderful moments in it as an Australian bowling community. What would it mean to you if eventually you were selected to represent Australia, and what is the pinnacle event for the sport?
Yeah, I guess it's something, when you watch the Commonwealth Games, you'd never think that you're going to be part of it at any stage. And so to think that I could be a chance is, it feels pretty unreal. And then when it happens, I guess I'll be overwhelmed if and when it does happen. And yeah, to be to be in amongst all the the best athletes of the Commonwealth. It's just quite unbelievable.
Fantastic. Well, Calvin, thank you so much for joining me on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, and good luck with everything next week. I hope it all goes swimmingly, and I'm sure it will with the player of your esteemed quality. Thank you for joining me on Without Bias, and we'll hope to chat to you soon.
Good on you, Val. Appreciate it.
Calvin Rodgers joining me on Without Bias. Great to have him on the program. He's a wonderful human being. Right at home vision impaired or right at home para Jackaroo. So looking forward to seeing how he goes next week with his director, Jason Schuchens, in Scotland. A big tour coming up for the Jackaroos. You can keep on top of it all on bowls.com.au, as well as the World Champion of Champions wrap, which is going on at the moment. Jacob Nelson's still going in the men's singles. Unfortunately, Chloe Stewart misses out in the sectional round, but Jacob's still well and truly in the hunt. That's all we've got time for tonight. Remember to follow BA's social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, X, YouTube, wherever you want bowls, we're there. Not to mention subscribing to The Right Line on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts from. That's BA's official podcast, hosted by yours truly. Plenty more bowls still to come in 2025. We've only got one episode left of Without Bias, though, so tune in next week for our final show of the year. It's been a great ride, and we'll be sure to bring you home with a wonderful episode next week. But until then, from me, Val Febbo, have a great week. This has been Without Bias for Tripadil and Right at Home.